The Center for Hope is a place of healing and hope and a beacon of light for children and families who've experienced the devastating loss of a parent or a sibling or someone significantly involved in their life. HOPE stands for healing, opportunity, perseverance, and enlightenment. And all of these elements are really important in the grieving process. We have developmentally age-appropriate groups. We have a preschool group, which are 4 and 5-year-olds. We have a 6 to 8-year-old group, a 9 to 12-year-old group, and a 13 to 18-year-old group. While the kids meet in their groups, there's a separate group for the adult parent. The focus of the parents group is really to talk about how to help the kids deal with their grief, although they do talk about their own feelings of grief and loss as well. The groups meet once every other week on an ongoing basis, and families are generally in our program for about a year to a year and a half. It allows them to go through the first birthday, the first anniversary, the holidays. When a child comes to the Center for Hope, he or she has an opportunity to meet other children who've experienced a similar loss.
If the Center for Hope wasn't here, I think it would be a lot harder to cope with the loss, because when everyone's around you who's gone through almost the same thing you have, it's a lot easier to feel like you're not so left out and that you're not alone.
There's an incredible sense of camaraderie between these children. They really feel connected to one another because all of a sudden they found other kids who know what they're feeling and experience what they're feeling, and they're able to talk about what they're feeling in a safe place where nobody's going to judge them for what they're saying. And that's powerful for kids as well as for adults.
Children tend to have both feet either in life, even during a grieving process, or both feet in grief. And that's why sometimes it's confusing to adults, because they think, oh, that child is doing just fine. And at that moment, on that day, he might be doing just fine. But when he's in the grief, or she's in the grief, then both feet are in.
When children are young, they don't have the words to be able to articulate the feelings, and what we give them is the opportunity to be able to put names to feelings. They use art, music, and a variety of different mediums to give expression to those feelings of grief. Who wants to answer a question?
Something that makes me angry is because my aunt and my dad died.
Something that makes me scared is when my dad died and I was really scared. So I just run around until I feel better.
Someone that makes me feel safe is my dog, because I love playing with him, and that makes me remember all of the good memories I had of my dad when I played with him.
One thing that I miss most about my loved one is that I won't be able to talk to my dad anymore, or play sports or play games with him anymore.
The feeling that I mostly had when my parents died was that I was alone and scared and sad.
The group usually begins in a talking circle where the children have an opportunity to get to meet one another. Then we usually read a story. It's usually a story related to the theme on that night. And then we go right into an activity. We have wonderful activities that really allow the children to be able to process the grief and to express the grief in a variety of different ways. We also have a music therapist that comes in and works with the children. He helps them to express their emotions. He also allows them to create a song reflecting their feelings of grief and loss and love for their loved one who's died.
They never gave up on me. They gave me strength and courage. They gave me my first piggyback. They gave me a sense of humor.
As they begin to process the feelings of grief, as they begin to integrate the grief experience, the power of the grief begins to become dissipated, and they begin to experience some level of mastery over the feelings, and they begin to experience some relief from these intense emotions of grief, which then allows them to be able to focus better in school. It allows them to have better relationships with their peers. Very often the relationship with the parent improves because they're talking about things that they weren't talking about before.
Coming to the Center for Hope, seeing other people grieve, lets you realize that it's okay to feel all the different emotions. And so when you go through that, you start to feel better.
There's a statement that goes, death is the end of a life, not the end of a relationship. And we help the children to understand this, that yes, the person has died and that the person is no longer there, but that they can have a different kind of a relationship with their loved one, an internal relationship with the memories.
The Center for Hope gave my children a place to talk about their father, to heal, to begin to remember him in a way that they felt safe and comforted.
Camp Hope is a weekend camp that we hold in September. It's an opportunity to get on a bus with other kids, and we go out to Eastern Long Island. We have songs that we sing in the bus. We do art activities, music activities, and we also have a memorial service on the beach.
A small child looked at a star and began to weep. And the star said, "My child, why are you weeping?" And the child said, "You're so far away, I'll never be able to touch you." The star answered, "My child, if I were already not in your heart, you would not be able to see me." All of us have the precious ones that we've lost in our hearts, and we carry their memories forever.
I think it's almost like the tears that they cried were, they really washed all the grief out of them.
We have a separate program for parents who've experienced the devastating loss of a child. It really gives them an opportunity to meet other parents and help them to cope in the midst of their grief. This program is separate and different than the other groups that the Center for Hope provides. We have a wonderful group of volunteers who really are a crucial part of our program. These volunteers are there to work one-on-one with the children, and they want to do something to make a difference in the lives of these kids. Our volunteers are dedicated, they're compassionate, they're terrific, and our program would not be able to function without them.
It's so rewarding. I love it. And people ask me, how can you do that? And I say, how could I not do this? These children just need people like me and like all these other volunteers.
The center really goes out to the community and provides education. We provide seminars, workshops. We will do training with any organization that requests it. We offer our services to families free of charge so that any family can utilize the services and that no family is turned away. And because our services are free of charge, we do rely on private donations and grants to help support our program. If the Center for Hope were not here, the children and the families who have experienced a loss would have a really hard time. These children come in and they are transformed. Their parents are transformed. They have an opportunity to be able to be happy again. I remember this little girl who was in our group, and when she came in, she thought she wasn't allowed to be happy. She thought she would never be happy again. And at the end of a year and a half, she said to me, "Susan, I know now that Dad would want me to be happy, and it's okay." And what we do in the center is just so powerful and so life-changing for these children and families.
Coming to this new experience, coming to the Center for Hope, was very positive for me. It opened up doors, it gave me many opportunities, and showed me a different perspective of life.
Kids should come to the Center of Hope because it makes you feel better. It makes your chest feel that much lighter, and to get you through all these hard times you're having.
When my friends tell me they understand about my dad dying, they don't really understand. But when the people from the Center of Hope tell me that they understand how a parent, how I feel, then I know that they truly understand because the same thing happened to them.
The
thing I like about the Sense of Hope is that you can come here and it doesn't matter what problems you're having, you can communicate and everybody listens and shows respect.
I learned the various ways that children grieve, and that helped me become a more flexible, caring adult for her.
I felt like it just made my heart feel better, and it refreshed my memories of good times.
I know when you first hear it, like Center for Hope, ooh, center. People think I'm weird if I go there. No one's gonna understand me. Well, they will, and it helps. So you should come here.